I love trying out new products, especially new holsters. You guys know that. This time though, I'm not just bringing you one holster from G-Code. No, today I have not one, not two, but all three of the Phenom holsters from G-Code. We have the Speed, we have the Commando, and here we have the Stealth. Over the course of the last few months, I've been rotating back and forth between these three to get a good idea of what exactly the deal is with them so that I can bring these to you. I love the G-Code products, seriously. Not only are they all just top shelf quality, but they've got a crazy selection of different things on their website. So I reached out to G-Code, I talked to them about testing some stuff, and as most of you guys know, the Hellcat Pro has been my EDC for a little while now. So G-Code went ahead and sent out all three of these Phenom holsters to me for the Hellcat Pro. I was taking a look at their website, and there were only slight differences between the three editions of the Phenom holsters, and I really needed to get them in hand to get a better idea of what the difference was between them. Let's start with the more entry level of the three, and that's going to be the Speed holster. This holster is pretty basic, while at the same time doesn't feel as generic as a lot of the more entry-level holsters that are out there on the market today. There's no option for different sweat guard lengths. It just comes as a high sweat guard, and to me that's pretty much perfect. Actually, all three of the Phenom holsters come with the exact same sweat guard, so if you're ordering one, just expect that. When you order any of these three holsters, you do have a couple of options. You can choose your weapon, of course, and which hand it is that you shoot with, but there are also a couple other options. You can add a Mo claw, which is their branded name for a concealment claw. You can also add one of these inside the waistband mag carriers. After carrying all three of these holsters around for a while, I feel like the Speed holster was somewhat designed to carry around as is with no claw, just a grab and go type thing. It's a real basic holster. All three of them have adjustable retention and can also have one of these claws attached or not attached. That's up to you. The Speed though, the Speed holster, it just doesn't feel like the kind of holster that I would have a concealment claw on. We're going to double back in a little bit and talk about the concealment claw options as well as the mag carrier, but for now let's just keep pushing forward with the holsters. All three of the Phenom holsters use the same belt clip. I like that it's a wider belt clip. I feel like with the wider belt clips I get a little bit more stability and my holster and guns stay where I want them to be a little bit more than with the slimmer, more streamlined belt clips. The one thing about this belt clip is that it's not adjustable for ride height. It is adjustable left and right, so you can get a little bit of side-to-side cant out of it, but you can't get any up and down movement from it. Aside from not being able to adjust your ride height at all, the design on this belt clip is actually pretty cool. A lot of times what you end up with are these belt clips that have two holes in them. One of the holes will be oblonged out, so you can move it side to side to get a little bit of cant out of it. The problem is that they move a lot. You can tighten those screws down, but there's still a little bit of play in them. The G-Code belt clips are quite a bit different. They're held in place with a single torque screw. The thing is though, is the way that the backer for the clip interacts with the clip is solid. It's not going anywhere, it's not going to shift, it's not going to move. My one complaint here is that I friggin' hate torque screws, but that's a me thing, so whatever. So yeah, all three Phenom holsters, they all have the same belt clip, they all have adjustable retention, they all have the ability to put a claw on them if you so choose. Actually, when you take a look at all three holsters side by side up close, they're all basically the exact same holster. As far as I can tell, all three are made off of the exact same mold. The big difference with the Commando and the Stealth versus the Speed is it looks like once the material is turned into a holster, they send it over to a CNC machine and they have this front area removed. It's kind of a cool design. So far I'm really liking it. They basically take the very end of the holster off, the part that covers the muzzle. They cut that off, they smooth out the edges, and then that's the holster. It's just that top layer of Kydex that gets removed. The bottom layer that goes in between the muzzle and your skin, that's still there. It's a pretty cool looking design, and it's kind of taken me a little bit to figure out why they did that. The website doesn't have a lot of information as to why the design is what it is. As far as I can tell, it has something to do with printing. Cutting off that top layer of material gives you just a little bit more streamlined shape for your pants to form to. I spent a few days awkwardly recording myself wearing all three of these holsters and then comparing the footage just to see if there was an actual difference between how the three of them printed. There is a slight but noticeable difference in how these three holsters carry. This stealth holster, it does conceal very well, pretty much like any other appendix in the waistband holster does. The thing is though, with a standard appendix in the waistband holster, you just have this blocky piece of plastic that's in your pants. With that top layer of material removed, you have a more gradual step down for your pants to lay over it. I feel like when I'm carrying these two holsters, the Commando and the Stealth, the way that my pants actually lay over the holster, it seems to kind of blend in a little bit more, if that makes sense. Now, my guess is the majority of people probably aren't staring at your junk trying to wonder, is that a holster in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? Regardless though, I do notice that you gain a little bit in concealment when it comes to the Commando and the Stealth version of these holsters. If nothing else, it's a little bit more peace of mind, and at the end of the day, the peace of mind to me is well worth it. Now, between the Commando and the Stealth, the only real difference between them is going to be the fuzz. I talked about this a little while back with the G-code outside the waistband holster. They have this fuzz material. I don't know, it's almost like a velvet, almost. Both the Commando and the Stealth have this material on the outside of the holsters. I like the way that it gives a barrier or a buffer between my skin and the Kydex material that the holster is made out of. A little bit of cushion, if you will. While it is a very thin layer of material, it is actually noticeable. I have tried several holsters that were, cloth covered. Those are great. They're definitely more comfortable than the standard Kydex. But this black fuzz that G-code uses, this is a whole different level of comfort. So the Commando has that fuzz on the outside, so does the Stealth. The big difference between these guys is that the Stealth holster actually has that fuzz on the inside of the holster as well as the outside. That additional layer of fuzz material on the inside of this holster, it makes for a really smooth and nearly silent holstering experience. The Stealth definitely has a different feeling when you get that click when it locks into place. It's secure. It's just not as loud of a click as you would expect from a holster that's solid Kydex. The other thing is that because you have this fuzz material on the inside, you should expect to see less wear and tear on your finish as you would with a standard Kydex holster. And I've seen a lot of people complain about how their Kydex holsters are marring the finish on their handguns. Then you have aftermarket finishes like Cerakote, which I love, don't get me wrong, but over time of holstering, unholstering, reholstering, you will notice quite a bit of wear and tear through that finish. The Phenom Stealth holster should eliminate almost all of that wear and tear through your finish. And I'm sure over time that the fuzz material will break down quite a bit, but it should still give enough of a barrier to keep the finish on your handgun safe. So those are the primary differences between these three holsters. You have the Speed, which is just basic, bare bones, but still high quality. You have the Commando, which is basically the Speed, except it has this material cut away, and then it has that super awesome fuzz material on the outside. Then you have the Stealth, and the Stealth is basically just the Commando, except you also have an additional layer of fuzz on the inside of the holster. All three of these holsters can be ordered with or without a concealment claw. They sent me their standard Mo claw as well as their super Mo claw to test out and see what I think. I actually like the standard better than the super, but that's just me. For me, the standard Mo claw, it sits in a really good position. It's not too high, it's not too low. It works really well. It's a nice solid concealment claw. Now the super Mo claw, it's not bad. It's actually a really innovative idea. It comes with 3 different tips that unscrew from here so that you can get a taller or shorter claw. This is actually the tallest of the 3 claws. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at that so I can tell you what I think about these. Okay, so here I have the Super Mo Claw, and attached to it I have the shortest of the 3 attachments. I'm going to go ahead and show you how this looks when connected to a belt. This is really awkward upside down, by the way. Okay, so with the shortest of the 3, it comes up just shy of the top of my belt there. This right here, this is the medium. It goes almost all the way to the top of the belt. This is the largest of the 3, and it comes all the way flush to the top. Now, a big problem with this, of course, is that now you have this concealment claw that's going to get in the way of you drawing your pistol. So I personally don't like this attachment on here. I don't have enough room to really get my hand down in there. I would have to actually draw it by holding it with my thumb to get it out, or gripping down lower and moving it from the holster and then having to move my grip up. In comparison, this is the standard Mo Claw, and with the standard Mo Claw I have plenty of room to be able to get my hand on my weapon. So this is the long attachment, which I can't get my hand in there, right? So you can't really, it's not real user friendly. This is the medium-sized attachment, and I can get in there a little better, but as you can see, you know, my knuckle does hit it a little bit. It's not as free and clear as I'd like it to be. This is the smallest of the 3 attachments, and this one, it's a lot more natural. I just don't personally see much use for myself as far as the medium or the large size. I like to be able to reach down and actually get a good solid grip on my pistol. Again, we'll compare that to the standard Mo Claw right here. I have so much room. Now this, of course, is going to line up with my belt, so it's going to do its job, but I have plenty of room to get in there and get a good solid grip on my gun. So let's talk about the mag carrier. The mag carrier is something that I probably haven't used as much as I should. Look, I know the general consensus is that we should all carry a spare mag when we leave the house, and believe me, I agree. I don't know why, but for some strange reason, roughly half the time when I leave the house, I forget to grab a spare mag and a mag carrier. I think part of that is because mag carriers just in general tend to be uncomfortable and a pain in the ass to use. G-Code's mag carrier though, it comes with that fuzz material on the outside, so already it's working out better than most of the mag carriers that I'm used to using. Comfort-wise, it's definitely more comfort than a traditional inside the waistband mag carrier. You can also swap the hardware from one side to the other, so regardless of whether you are right-handed or left-handed, this mag carrier is going to work out for you. As far as retention goes, the retention on these is tough. I've got the retention screwed down as far as it can go, and I wish I could get just a little bit more retention out of it. I like more retention on my mag carriers than what this allows for, unfortunately. I would say for most people, the retention on this thing is probably going to be more than good. So the belt clip on this is a little bit weird. It's one of the strangest designs that I've seen to date. I don't know what all this extra material is down here at the bottom, but I'm sure that it's got some sort of purpose. One of the things that I've noticed about belt clips over the years is that what companies are doing is they're trying to make these things as thin and low profile as humanly possible. I really like the belt clip that G-Code has designed here. It is thick enough that it can accommodate whatever belt, but it's also not going to do any printing. The other thing is too, at the top here, it's like a circular design. You know, I was wearing this thing the other day and I noticed that the top of my pants up above where the belt is, it fits up in here without binding up into the belt clip like most belt clips do. I don't think I've seen a single belt clip out there that addresses that issue. So that I think is a pretty cool design. As far as the mounting goes on here, there are 2 screws side by side, and you have a little bit of adjustment for ride height. You can move this belt clip up or down, or pivot it left and right for cant, depending on how it is that you want to carry this thing. It's definitely different from the type of belt clips that I'm used to seeing on other holsters and mag carriers. But you know, one thing that I like about G-Code is that they're trying to do innovative things with tactical gear and holsters. They aren't just trying to copy what everybody else is doing, which is nice. So before I close out this review, I want to talk a little bit about the quality level with the G-Code products. So these belt clips, not just the belt clip for the holster itself, but also the mag carrier. These aren't just some, you know, generic belt clips that they bought from some company in China in bulk and had shipped over, and then they lasered their logo into. They're solid. They're very well made. The concealment claws, they're the same way. These aren't just, you know, generic concealment claws that they got from somebody else and slapped their logo onto. These things are high quality. They're well made. They're well designed. Each of these three holsters, they are nearly identical. They were clearly cut on a CNC machine to a high degree of precision. These aren't being cut by hand, so this right here, this is what you can expect your holster to look like if you order one. It's going to be consistent, and I love consistency. Here's my conclusion. G-Code. They are usually known for making tactical gear, things like battle belts and other, you know, duty use type gear. The average consumer may not even know that G-Code exists because, let's face it, your primary focus is going to be conceal carry type products. These holsters, the entire Phenom line of holsters that G-Code is producing, they are some of the best built inside the waistband holsters that I've used. They're comfortable, they conceal well, they're secure. They're also made by a company that is based here in the US and is trusted by various military and law enforcement agencies nationwide. If you haven't taken a look at some of the offerings from G-Code, you definitely need to head over to their site and take a look around. That's going to be it for today. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember to have those notifications turned on because I'll have more content for you real soon.